10,000. How? If you had told me a few years ago that 10,000 individual people would look at something I've created and want more of it, I would say that you're delusional. 10,000 is more people than I have ever met and probably will ever meet in my entire life. And yet, look at all of you here. If I could thank each one of you individually, I wouldn't do that because it would take a lot of time. But if I had that time, I would probably spend it doing something else. But that doesn't mean I'm not grateful. You guys have given me a chance to do something I've always wanted to do but always felt too afraid or complacent to start. But I did start, and it's working, and it's wild that it's working, and the ones responsible for making this work are you guys. I don't really like to look at my videos as performance or sub count or shit like that because historically, performance related things have always given me a lot of anxiety. Because every time I'll see that I've spent hours working on something only for it to have a mediocre performance, I'll just think, well, guess I'll just fucking kill myself. But whenever I check out what you guys think about my videos, I see nothing but positivity. This might sound a bit cringe, but if you've ever said anything nice about my videos in one of the comments, there's a good chance that I took a screenshot of it and saved it in a folder with other screenshots like it. I'm not always the kindest to myself when it comes to how I deal with poor performance, but seeing you guys support me genuinely makes my day brighter regardless of how shit it is. You guys have given me the hope that I could make this dream of creating content as a career become true, and that's something that I can never thank you enough for. Regardless of whether you're a new subscriber, an OG, or just a viewer, just know that I will never forget you guys. And to the motherfucker in middle school who bullied me because I didn't have enough followers on Instagram, now I have 12 times your follower count, dipshit. Shout out to you, I hope you're safe and alive. Oh yeah, and there's a Q&A in this video as well. Some of the questions you guys sent me are either similar or have similar answers, so I sort of just bundled them together. But yeah, let's just get to it. The first one is a YouTube comment from a video I posted a while ago asking where I got my name from. Told you I remember you, dude. So, the name was originally going to be Hado like this, without the E, which is in reference to the deepest zone of the ocean back when I was going for something more ocean themed. But it's pronounced Hadal, and it does not have a nice ring to it. So what I did is that instead I decided to go for something more angelic / Latin, and I added the AE so that it would be pronounced the way I wanted. Plus, words and names that have AE just sound aesthetic as fuck. See what I did there? From all of media, games, movies and anime, what characters do you consider role models? An example for me would be Leon S. Kennedy from Resident Evil, smart, dedicated and courageous. There are many characters that inspired me, but I think that the best role model for me as of the present moment in my life would be Rengoku from Demon Slayer, but honorable mention to Ghost from Modern Warfare 2 and Furina from Genshin. What were your plans before you started, have they changed, and do you plan on expanding your content? I had plans, they have adapted, and I do plan on expanding eventually. Originally I was going to become a VTuber. I know, calm down, I just prefer it more than IRL streaming, that's all. In fact, I still do, it's just that I'm growing my audience here since it's a lot easier than going for streaming from the get-go. But the original plan was to do streaming, and I have like a lot of concepts in my mind already. From the character sheet to the intro screens to the songs I want to play on stream and even the lore. There is a lot of lore. But unfortunately, VTuber models are very expensive, especially the high-end ones I want, so I figured that I would start making videos first, and if I ever got enough money through it, I would eventually expand my setup into streaming. A little fun fact is that the channel's portrait is an OC from my story, and if I ever get to the point where I can afford a model, I'm gonna be using him. If everything goes right, there's a good chance that you'll be seeing me on Twitch in maybe 1 or 2 years depending on how things go. But I don't want to do just streaming, as I genuinely love making these videos. They will continue regardless and probably expand into different things too. One thing that I want to do in the very distant future would be some sort of professional documentary like in the style of Minefield from Vsauce. But it's gonna be at least half a decade before you see me expanding into something like that. How are babies formed? They drop from a bird or some shit like that, right? I think that's what my mother told me. Will you ever make a video on ugly female characters in video games? I thought about it, and honestly, I don't think I have enough thoughts to conjure up a video on it. Plus, there's the fact that the quote-unquote ugly female characters are mostly from Western AAA, and I don't really play them that much to have a strong opinion on them. Have you played how the fuck do you pronounce this? Astlibra? If not, what are you waiting for? Let me see what it looks like, hold on. That's a strong maybe. I'll watch a video or two on it, and if I like the vibes, I'll give it a try. Who are your top 5 favorite VTubers? As of currently, in ascending order, my top 5 are Grimy, Jinkitsu, Lena, Lord Eagleson, and my absolute favorite, Juniper Actius, my beloved. She's the only streamer that will have me actively planning my day around being able to watch her. My top 5 are always changing every year or so, but she's been consistently in number 1 ever since I first found out about her. Juniper, please collab with me. How do you find the motivation to write the scripts for your videos? Also, do you have any tips on overcoming procrastination? I'll be real, a lot of the times my motivation is simply knowing that I haven't posted in a while, plus knowing that every video that I do post brings me closer to the day where I can do this for a living, which would be delectable. As for overcoming procrastination, I can't help you with that one, bro. Let me know if you find something that helps. What's the favorite thing from each gacha you play, and which is your favorite gacha? For Genshin, I really like the auto attack animations. Sometimes it's the sole reason why I pull for a character. For Nikki, currently I've just been finding the art and the life 2D of the characters so pretty. That's basically it. I also want to mention Punishing Grey Raven, which I used to play, and I really dig the world they've created, but I stopped playing after a while because I got Nanami instead of Alpha for the second time. Last but not least, for Arknights, I absolutely love the world they've created and the vibe they're going for, because they basically mixed my two favorite settings in all of fiction, those being dark fantasy and sci-fi. It's the only one that I've been playing continuously since I first downloaded it, and it continues to be my favorite. You said you were mostly straight. Are you sure? You sound cute. To this person and the other two who said my voice was hot in the comments, keep them coming, it's very good for my ego. But yeah, I am straight. Bi-curious at most, I'll give you that. Are you real? I wish I fucking wasn't. How is your dog doing? Hey, how are you doing? How are you doing? He's great. Before you went viral, did you tell anyone about your YouTube channel, like friends, family, and etc.? I told my sister and my best friend, and honestly I was going to keep it at that because it's kind of cringe to just go up to people and say you have a YouTube channel. But after my Genshin video blew up, I did tell my mom and 2 other friends. And after that information basically started to spread a little bit faster than I would like. Right now, I'm trying to keep it a secret, and I told anyone who knows that information to keep silent, but I don't really have any control over it anymore. What inspired you to start a channel, and how did you manage to find the right tools to create videos? Shout out to this guy specifically who said I inspired him. It's surreal to think that I could potentially inspire some of you watching, but I'm really happy to know that. Best of luck with your videos, bro. As for the main question, there were many factors that sort of made me consider the idea of becoming a content creator. I've mainly just consumed a lot of content on YouTube and Twitch, and I've always wanted to give it a try. But the trigger was when I was watching one of Athel's streams when he was doing a tour through Anime Expo in 2023. I don't know why, but watching him going around the convention, meeting his fans and other creators and the artists, it just stirred something in me. Hearing all the other cool stories from the other creators I watch helped me a little bit with that, but basically I made a promise that night that I would be at Anime Expo 2025 as a content creator. A few hours later, I was looking for an artist to draw the Trinos portrait. As for the tools, I just bought a mic from Amazon and looked at a couple free video editing software, picked the best one and gave it a shot. Are you planning on doing any more Arknights videos? Your first one was my introduction to your channel, and there is so much more for you to cover about it. There is a good chance I will. I have an idea of making a very deep dive into the world, but I'm going to have to catch up on a lot of lore before I do that. Where are you from? Full legal name, address of residence, social security number, credit card number, and expiration date. I'll give you a hint. One of the numbers in my credit card in one of the positions is the number 2. On a more serious note, do you plan on touching on some older games, classics, you know, old but gold as they say? Maybe some indie games? I'd love to hear your thoughts on some indie horror games and stuff. Cheers! To answer the first part, I'd actually like to ask you guys where you think I'm from. I'm not gonna reveal it just yet, but I'm just curious to see your guesses. And for the second part, I've recently revisited a couple of old Tomb Raider games I used to play with my dad back when I was little, and they still hold up. I might do a retrospective on it in the future. As for indie horror, just go to Pastra. I never got too deep into the indie scene, and my contact with indie horror is mainly through Lena's streams. But I'll admit that there are a couple of them that catch my interest. Maybe I'll do something like that in the future. Oni-chan Baka. Doimi desu ka, Baka? What is something you can't wait to cover in the future, and do you plan on covering any of the Project Moon games? I do eventually want to make some more long-form video essays going really deep into something, covering stuff like the themes, literary analysis, psychological analysis, and philosophical perspectives, and other things like that about some of the games, characters, and stories I like. And about Project Moon, I did see 1 or 2 comments in my Arknights video mentioning that Lobotomy Corporation also had some really vast lore, so I'll do the same thing as I'll do with Ast Libra. I'll watch a couple of videos on it, and if it catches my interest, I might delve into it myself. The dog have a brain cell? Yes, he does, but sometimes I need to borrow it. How many Ron Weasleys could you take in a fight? If they have a wand, probably 0, otherwise maybe 3. Do you ever feel burnout from making videos? Thankfully not, at least not yet, I just feel lazy sometimes. Back when I used to write and post on Wattpad, I struggled a lot with burnout, but I guess that since video making has a bigger variety to it than a single story can offer, I can keep at it for longer. What do you think of Vulcan from Arknights? I like her prosthetics. Why do gacha games have such god-tier music? Pretty much every gacha game you see is just a little marketing strategy to advertise what are essentially music companies. Favorite Arknights character? Mud. What's the biggest dopamine rush you get in your life? Interesting question. I hope this doesn't sound too sad, but it was when I first found out that one of my videos went viral. I was shaking for like 2 hours after that. Hi, as a fellow Arknights player, my question is Arknights related. If you were to be isekai'd into the world of Terra with your current knowledge for survivability, what do you think is your chance of surviving in that world? Lastly, wish you luck on your virtuosa pools. Depends on where I'd land. I think that if I were to land on somewhere like Laterano, Yan or Siesta, I'd do pretty well for pretty much my entire life. Whereas if I were to spawn in some shit-ass village in an unnamed Sargonian desert, my chances would be quite low, like dead by week 2. Overall, I think that the chances of surviving Terra would be a bit harder than Earth, but doable. Plus I could blackmail a lot of governments with all the lore knowledge I've acquired through the story. And thanks for the good luck, I did get her on Friday. What is your favorite color? It's green. What's your opinion on the Damazi cluster? Mate, I'm gonna be real, I haven't read chapters 11 and 12 yet. I just sped through them in the event to get the skins for Bagpipe Milner in Texas. But soon I'm gonna have a little bit more time on my hand and then I'll give them a read. What do you do besides YouTube and what are your future plans? For future plans, besides the things I mentioned earlier, I guess I should look into creating socials and maybe a Discord server. I thought about making a Patreon, but I don't really have anything to offer, and I still need to look into the other things too. Besides YouTube, I also really like to write a couple of short stories set in an original universe. I work out a little bit, I'm a struggling college student, and anytime I'm doing anything, I'll have either YouTube or Twitch open. Like, literally, as I am recording this, I'm watching Vay play Disco Elysium. The voices get a bit too loud if I don't have something in the background. What would/will be the first Halo merch you sell, and the most over-the-top and unlikely one after you had already made and sold all the obvious ones like hoodies and keychains, etc. You can bet your ass that I will be selling merch eventually. I specifically want to make something that looks really cool and that you can wear in public without people staring at you weird. I even have, like, ideas for the designs I want, but that's gonna take a little bit. The first ones I make are probably going to be hoodies. As for the over-the-top merch, boy am I glad you asked. It's gonna make more sense if you're from the future, but like I said previously, this character is an OC and the avatar I would use for VTubing, right? This motherfucker happens to have a sword, and in the very distant future, if I ever gain the amount of traction that allows me to do something like that, is that I'm going to commission a blacksmith to forge 11 replicas of this sword. One is for me and the rest I'm gonna give away to viewers. But don't expect anything like that to happen before at least 400k followers. Those were all the questions. If you're one of the people who sent them, thank you so much, and if you're not, well, thank you for listening to me yap about my life for however long this video is. 10k is hopefully just the beginning of my journey, but each and every single one of you holds a special place in my heart. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna get started on the next video. It might take a while because these next 2 weeks are jam-packed with things I need to do, but yeah, take care you guys.